Would you like to find your next 5-star read? Foundryside by Robert Jackson Bennett is such an amazing trilogy, rated above a 4 by 30,000 people on Goodreads. The Foundryside will get you because the plot, it's fantastic, it's very gripping, characters are amazing, the magic system, it's outstanding, but beyond that, because it blends masterfully fantasy, science fiction and horror. Let's talk about it. Today we're going to see a spoiler-free review of the Founders series, so be sure to subscribe and click that bell in order to be notified whenever I publish new bookish content like this one. So Foundryside talks about this society that has had this magical breakthrough, and they are able now to inscribe objects and then command them to do some stuff. For example, you can inscribe a door and therefore this door will never open, very good for defense purposes, or you can inscribe a wheel and convince the wheel that needs to keep running and running and running. So you don't need horses, you don't need manpower. That is very convenient, very sophisticated. And this is treated similar to technology as intellectual property. So we will have these different houses that are masters of this magic, and all of them know kind of like the basis, but these different houses have more advanced or less advanced knowledge of the magic, and therefore they have more or less power. However, this society, this city is also very, very segmented, and we will have these very powerful houses that have all the control of this magic, but then we will also have this poor section of the city, and the characters that we will follow will mainly belong to this side. It really is reminiscent to Arcane to me because of this magic technology element, as well as how we have this band of almost misfits trying to change things. And we will pick off this story with our girl Sancha, who is a little bit special because although she doesn't know how to use this magic, she is a little bit different and she is able to sense objects, sense their emotions, kind of like talk to them. So this makes her the perfect thief because, as you can imagine, you can get into a room, see very quickly where the valuable stuff, steal it, and get away, which places her in the perfect spot to get this new job where she will need to steal a very important artifact that has been warded in one of the most powerful of these houses. And so while stealing it, this, don't worry, happens at the beginning of the book, it's just the element that triggers it all, so no spoilers, and don't worry, if you haven't read the Founder series or if you have just read one of them, you are safe with it, you can continue watching. But she will quickly discover that upon thieving this artifact, people is trying to chase and kill her to steal this artifact also from her. So she very quickly discovers how this artifact is in fact very dangerous and has the ability to change reality forever. So hopefully up till this point you're already gripped to the story. It has piqued a little bit your imagination. If it does, just right now down below in the comments a thumbs up if this is making sense so far. If you are liking it, a thumbs down if you aren't so far, because this is kind of like the beginning of this story, but you will continue with Foundryside because of its characters. We already talked about Sancha, this girl that has this amazing power from which she can sense objects. She really gets things done. She gets shit done. She doesn't really care if she needs to do the impossible, she will do it. It's not really prone to reflection. It's not that she believes herself a hero, but rather that she finds herself in that situation. This reminded me a lot to Mistborn, a little bit to being a more chaotic version, because in here we also will have a heist as well as in Mistborn and a great magic system. So if you are a lover of Mistborn, I really recommend this series, as well as if you're a lover of Six of Crows, and essentially also a heist, but with incredible magic system. We continue with my favorite character, the one that for me steals the show completely, which is Clef, this special artifact that Sancha can sense. And so Clef is just so wholesome. It's incredibly funny, knows about the magic, and through him we will understand how the magic unravels and how he is able to change stuff. But also things get really emotional at times, and for me, whenever he was in a page, it was like, oh, perfection. Then we will also have this policeman that it's really outside of magic. He doesn't know a thing. He's just like a detective kind of vibe. And in the other end of the spectrum, we will have this woman that is this mastermind. She is a genius scriber. It's one of the best because she remembers everything, and we will also follow the path of her mentor. And this is kind of like the inner circle. We will see how these characters cross path with other characters, but this is kind of like where everything happens, right? And let me know down below who you believe is the best character so far. Is it Sancho? Is it Clef? Is it the policeman? Is it the genius? Is it the mentor? And now that we know the main story, the main characters, let's move forward to the writing style, because it's very plot driven, but it really has this touch of also knowing the characters. I'm a very character driven reader, but I really like my plots to move forward. So Foundryside and overall the Founder series got that perfect blend for me. You won't spend a moment relaxing. In book 1, performing a heist, book 2, heist, and book 3, defeating and saving the world. It's not that our characters will spend a lot of time planning, a lot of time researching, and then everything will unravel at the end. That's not at all the tone of this series, but rather from the beginning you will have different action scenes. So if you are a little bit of an action junkie, you really will find your spot here. Another thing that kept things really going for me is that this series had a lot of dialogue. There's not a lot of description, not big paragraphs, but just a lot of conversations between our different characters, which for me was great due to two things. One, it allowed us to understand the magic and how it behaved, because it had a lot of conversation to it, how Sancho talks with the different objects, and I thought that was really fascinating. But two, because it was really fast and it wasn't really info dumpy. So hopefully now you were picked about the story, you know your characters, you know if the book is for you or not. So let's get into the magic system. This is a hard magic system, which means there are very specific rules for how this magic happens. And the great thing about this, in my opinion, is that one, it is a blend of fantasy and science fiction, but two, our characters, it's not that they will discover how to use this magic from moment zero to them becoming masters. No, they are masters or not masters from the beginning, but what they will do is to do these different breakthroughs in the magic. Same thing that happens with technology. They are able to change the society because they have done different breakthroughs. And so I thought that was really incredibly well done. And so you start with book 1, Foundryside, really understanding the basis of this magic. You will start with the basic stuff, but then stuff will get a little bit more complicated, but naturally you will see how they start to blend a little bit gravity. They start to play with the laws of physics, and then through book 2 there's this breakthrough and something really changes, and then in book 3 this happens as well, and in massive proportions. If you were to start book 1, you would never guess how book 3 ends. That's how naturally things change and how this breakthrough also affects the proper series. Let me know down below if you like hard magic systems like this one, or if you prefer soft magic systems where, you know, magic, it's more on wizardry. And last but not least for this review, I really wanted to drop a space of, okay, this is kind of like the breakdown of the different parts, but now this is how I legit presented this book to my best friend. Are you ready? Because now we are becoming best friends. Dude, you really need to read it. It was such a game changer for me. It's not often that you get books that are 5 stars, almost all of them. It is such a satisfying series, so different. If you are in the mood of something that also has this sci-fi element, it is queer, the magic, it's so incredibly different to anything that you might have read before. It is funny, it is profound, it is emotional. It really has a lot of different elements, and I really believe that this is a series that it's underrated. I don't know why, because I really believe that it's very, very, very high quality fantasy. So now you know, click that subscription button if you like this video and you want to see similar videos to this one. Share it with your friends if you feel that they will like also this series. Let's make this series more popular. I publish bookish content every Tuesday and Friday for you to enjoy. Let me know down below what are your thoughts about Foundryside, about the Founder series. I cannot wait to chat with you in the comments after this video.